My sister became pregnant with my fiancé's child, and when my parents told me to forgive and move on for the sake of family, I chose a different path. At her baby shower, I exposed every secret, betrayal, and lie they had all conspired to bury, leaving them shattered in front of everyone they once fooled. My sister became pregnant with my fiancé's child. My parents insisted I should forgive and move on. So, I revealed to my sister's baby shower attendees evidence that she had stolen my fiancé. "We have an announcement to make," my sister declared in my living room during my celebration, which I had funded. Everyone fell quiet. My fiancé wrapped his arm around her waist in a way he had never embraced me. I wondered if she understood yet. "Poor dear," my sister said, caressing her stomach. "We're expecting. For months along," he added. "For months. Your expression is priceless," he whispered. "Did you actually believe this was real? I stayed around for your credit cards, but my child deserves something more secure, something you lack." I looked toward my parents. My mom exhaled. "Don't cause a disturbance. Act mature." My father added, "Your sister needs your assistance. That's what family means." She grinned. "With your income, you won't even feel it. You'll become the most helpful worker bee ever." I departed. Without a single word. I just drove away. I cried until I was empty. I came home, ignored the chaos they had left behind, and headed straight to my study. I opened the investment file. This wasn't family wealth. This was mine. The inheritance my grandfather left me was from the only person who appreciated my self-control. While everyone else saw a cash machine, I had tripled it over a decade. I smiled for the first time that night. Everything, absolutely everything, belonged to me alone. They were right about one thing. Children cost money, and they were about to learn the real price of betraying me. The following morning came, without tears. I awoke with a strange feeling, like when you injure yourself but don't sense the pain until you notice the blood. I went directly to my study and retrieved the family investment file from my desk. The first document was the rental agreement for my sister's place with my name as the main guarantor. Second, the financing papers for his vehicle, my name once more. Third, the family education loan agreement that they signed blindly when they were 20. My wealth was the foundation of everything. I examined them individually with great care. They had never bothered to comprehend a single page, signature, or cancellation clause. But I didn't terminate anything. That was my first tactical choice. A calculated void used as ammunition. 7 days later, the initial trap worked perfectly. My sister called me frustrated when her premium credit card was rejected at the wellness center. "What's the issue with your account?" "I have no idea what you mean. My account is working fine." I ended the call. What they didn't know was that I had established alerts on all accounts. Any purchase over $200 needed my personal authorization. I permitted regular transactions to proceed, but blocked anything that suggested luxury. I made them feel insecure, without explaining what was occurring. Their response was predictable. They increased their spending like kids throwing a fit. They started sending me links to $400,000 homes. On social platforms, they tagged me in photos of expensive nursery furniture for my baby. My sister even posted a picture of a luxury German car. The baby should arrive in style. But things didn't make sense. The 4-month deception had made me suspicious. I started investigating our history together, reviewing every bank record. I needed to understand how I had been so naive. That's when I found the first inconsistency, a $0 rideshare on a day when he claimed to be homesick and nauseous. At 11 in the evening, the trip ended in the downtown entertainment district. I created a fake social media profile. I searched location tags for that date and area. It took 3 hours, but I eventually found it. A photo shared by a blonde woman I had never encountered. He was kissing her. My sister wasn't the other woman. She was just the more reliable investment. I continued investigating. I uncovered 2 years of digital deception and an entire existence he had been hiding from me. Social media stories where I wasn't mentioned. Hotel reservations we never made together. Romantic meals that didn't exist in my world. I contacted an attorney the next day and booked a 1-hour consultation. "I want to verify all of my cancellation and enforcement rights on these 3 assets," I said, placing the scanned papers on his desk. He spent 20 minutes examining them. "You have complete authority. You can revoke any guarantee with 30 days' notice. For the vehicle loan, you can demand immediate payment of the full amount. For the apartment, technically, you can evict them at any time. Legally, everything is solid. Their signatures validate it." I paid the $200 consultation fee in cash and left with a smile I hadn't felt in weeks. I started recording everything. I created electronic and physical files containing screenshots of their excessive spending, recordings of their calls asking for money, and messages where they treated me like a bank machine. Every insult, slight, and proof of their ungratefulness was documented with date and time. Then came the response. My closest friend called me, and her tone was strange. Is it true you've had a nervous breakdown? Your sister claims you're fixated and need professional help. That's when I understood their plan. Isolate me socially. Portray me as the unstable person who couldn't accept their joy. Since when do you trust her more than me? I asked during her uncomfortable silence. I'm just concerned about you. It got worse when my mother called. Her voice lacked any diplomatic worry from the situation. It was pure blame. Your sister is experiencing a lot of pressure because of you. It might be harmful for the baby. Do you want that weighing on you? Pure emotional manipulation. I'm fine, Mom. Just reconsidering priorities. Stop being overdramatic. She's your sister. I know precisely who she is. 1 month after the disaster, I received the call I had been expecting. My mother spoke again, but with a sweet voice. Sweetheart, we're organizing a baby shower for your sister. We know you've had your disagreements, but it's time to forgive and move forward. Family is what matters most. I stayed quiet for 5 seconds. It felt endless. Certainly, Mom. I wouldn't miss it for anything. I'll be there. Really? That's amazing. I knew you'd see reason. Count on me. Actually, I'll handle the presents. When I hung up, I opened my laptop and started creating a detailed list. They weren't presents I was bringing. These were verdicts. The game had begun. On Monday, after my conversation with Mom, I started moving the pieces. First, I sent a certified eviction notice to my sister's address, giving her 30 days to vacate. When they got the paperwork, my sister called me laughing. Seriously, a legal letter? What's your next move? Contact the authorities? She laughed as if it were the funniest thing ever. Calm down, drama queen. Mom already informed us you were going to see sense. I hung up without replying. On Wednesday, I stopped making the payment for my ex's vehicle. The bank started contacting him the next day. I knew because he texted me, resolve the car account. This is a computer glitch. On Friday, I sent a notice to the university withdrawing my support for my sister's final semester with copies to the scholarship office, the finance department, and the dean. You have 30 days to find alternative funding or face immediate academic suspension. That's when the real panic started. My sister called me at 7 a.m. on Saturday screaming hysterically. What did you do? They're going to remove me from the university. I'm expecting. I can't work full-time. Good morning, sister. How are you and the baby? Don't give me that. Fix this immediately. I can't fix what isn't damaged. Review the contracts you signed. Those documents don't mean anything. We're family. Exactly. That's what family is for, I responded, repeating my father's words. Isn't that what you told me? The silence on the other end lasted 5 seconds before she disconnected. My ex received a formal repossession notice from the bank the next Tuesday. Naturally, he ignored it. He sent me a message. Stop the theatrics. You know I need the vehicle for work. Think of the baby as if my sister's child were my responsibility. On Wednesday, they hired a cheap attorney they found online. I know because I received a ridiculous letter full of spelling errors threatening me with severe legal action for violating implied family duties. My lawyer chuckled when I showed it to him. Implicit family responsibilities. This person got his degree from a cereal box. I asked him to provide copies of all signed contracts with each cancellation clause highlighted in bright yellow. The opposing lawyer's silence was deafening. We never heard from him again. However, my masterpiece required an unexpected partner. I searched social media until I found the blonde from the photo. Her name was Andrea. She had a public profile and 3 years of pictures with my ex. I created a fake account and sent her a direct message including a single photo of them kissing on the day he was supposed to be ill. I thought you should know that he is cheating on you with me. We have been together for 2 years. He is marrying me in December. Her reply came in 10 minutes. What? 2 years? We have been living together for 3 years. Who are you? I sent her screenshots of our texts, photos of our life together, and receipts for romantic dinners she'd never experienced. I'm his fiancé. Oh, he was living with you while he also lives with me. The information exchange lasted 2 hours. It turns out he had 2 apartments, 2 lifestyles, and 2 women paying his expenses, each thinking she was the only one. Andrea paid half of her rent on the other side of town. I covered everything else. That son of a she finally wrote. What do you want to do? Do you know my sister? The one who's expecting his child? He's expecting with him. He told me he was infertile. Andrea became my most valuable ally. She not only confirmed that my ex was a professional deceiver, but she also had 3 years of proof of his real character. Photos of parties while he was supposedly caring for his sick girlfriend, me, messages mocking the idiots who finance my lifestyle, and even videos where he rehearsed lies to tell me later. There's something you need to see, she wrote. They're having a baby shower this Sunday. Your sister posted on social media asking for money for the best presents for the future baby. She sent me screenshots. My sister had launched a crowdfunding campaign titled Help a Single Mom. She described how her wealthy family abandoned her, because she was pregnant. The story was that I had thrown her out of the house out of jealousy, and she needed community, help to provide the best for her baby. She'd collected $1,200. My blood boiled. But Andrea had a better plan. What if I attend the baby shower? As his girlfriend, I have a right to meet the mother of his child.
No.
Meanwhile, my ex appeared in my workplace parking lot on Friday afternoon. He was anxious, sweating, and gesturing wildly. We need to discuss this immediately. I took out my phone and started recording before approaching him. What do you want to discuss?
Stop the nonsense.
You know exactly what. Cancel all this before it's too late. Cancel what? Be specific. The evictions, the repossessions, everything. I don't know what you're referring to. Are you experiencing some legal difficulties? Don't act innocent with me. It's my child, my family. You can't ruin my life over a fit. A fit? Is that what you call discovering you betrayed me for years with my own sister? That doesn't matter. What matters is the future. That baby needs stability. You're correct. Babies do need stability. Perhaps you should find employment. He became irrational, shouting that I was spiteful and would regret it. All recorded in high definition. That same evening, my parents started direct harassment, including missed calls, messaging app texts, and an email from my father's work account. My mother's voicemail said, "If you don't see reason, we're going to inform the entire family what you're really like. Your Aunt Carmen, your cousins, your grandparents, everyone will know what a selfish, vindictive person you are. Is that what you want? To destroy your family's reputation over a whim?" My father was more direct. This has gone too far. This isn't about the engagement anymore. This is about ruining lives out of malice. I thought we raised you better. I saved every message, audio, and threat. On Sunday morning, they attempted their final desperate move. They found the account where we had saved money for the wedding. They tried to access it with their old login information. They discovered the account was empty and had been closed for 3 weeks. My sister called me crying. Where's the wedding money? That money was for the baby. It was our money. Our money. With what audacity do you say our? We were going to be a family. That money was going to be for everyone. You're right. It was for a family. But that family was destroyed when you slept with my fiancé. I decided it was time for strategic silence. I blocked my sister, my ex, and my parents' phone numbers. Any communication had to go through my attorney. This move drove them insane. They suddenly lost direct access to me. They couldn't manipulate me. They couldn't emotionally blackmail me. My cousins started receiving frantic calls asking them to speak with me because I had lost my mind. My Aunt Carmen sent me a long message emphasizing the importance of family forgiveness. My grandmother sent me a photo of another cousin's newborn with a caption, "Babies are a blessing. Don't let pride destroy something beautiful." I didn't respond to any of them. On Wednesday, the formal baby shower invitation arrived by mail, a blue card with teddy bears, and the message, "Let's celebrate the arrival of the miracle." Location, my parents' house. Date, Sunday. Time 2 in the afternoon. Finally, in my mother's handwriting, it said, "We hope this special day helps us heal as a family." I laughed out loud. That evening, I prepared my presents. It wasn't just a folder. I bought 3 beautiful gift boxes in blue and white paper, the perfect size for baby items. I carefully wrapped them with ribbons and cards. I wrote the following on each tag: for the future, for stability, and for the truth. The first box contained a copy of the eviction notice, as well as all of the apartment paperwork. The second contained the car repossession documents and the withdrawal of the university's sponsorship. Inside the third, screenshots showing my ex's double life with Andrea, the fake crowdfunding page, and transcripts of all the messages where they threatened me, plus a USB drive containing the audio and video recordings. On Friday, I unexpectedly encountered my ex at a coffee shop near his workplace. He looked gaunt, as if he hadn't slept in days. "The baby shower is tomorrow," he said, approaching my table. "I hope you come with a positive attitude. Your sister is very stressed." I looked him in the eye with the coldest smile I could manage. "Don't worry, I'll be there, and I'll bring presents. Real presents, not more of your legal games. You're going to have exactly the day you deserve." He stayed there for a moment, as if he wanted to say something else before turning and leaving. That night, as I was completing the final copies of documents, I realized something. I wasn't angry anymore. The rage had faded, leaving behind something even more dangerous. Absolute coolness and clarity, the cold satisfaction of knowing that justice would finally be served. On Sunday morning, I woke up early and put on my finest outfit, which I had never worn for them. I took my 3 carefully wrapped boxes and headed to my parents' house. It was time for a baby shower. I arrived at 2:15. 15 minutes late on purpose. The baby shower was in full swing in my parents' garden with blue and white balloons, a candy table, and about 30 guests I hadn't seen in months. My sister, radiant, in the center with my ex by her side playing the role of devoted future father. The conversation stopped when I appeared with my 3 perfectly wrapped boxes. My mom rushed over. "Honey, so glad you came. I knew you'd see reason." My sister smiled at me with her fake smile, which she had perfected since childhood. "Sister, thank you for coming. It means everything to us." My ex came over and gave me a hug that lasted 2 seconds too long, enough to whisper, "Thanks for not destroying this." "You're welcome," I said with a smile that didn't reach my eyes. My father asked for silence, and my ex took the floor. There he was, talking about values and how he had found his soulmate in my sister. Sometimes destiny leads us down unexpected paths, but always to where we belong. My sister shed fake tears, thanking everyone for their support during these difficult times and looking directly at me. I especially want to thank my sister who, despite our differences, is here today. Applause, smiles, perfect performance, my mother announced. "It's time for presents. Who wants to begin?" "I do," I replied, raising my hand. I walked to the center with my 3 boxes. All eyes were on me. The possibility of reconciliation hung in the air like cheap perfume. "A baby shower is for giving presents that help the new family build their future," I said clearly. "My presents are exactly that, gifts of clarity and responsibility, so they can build on a solid foundation." I addressed my parents first. "For you, who asked me to be the adult and reminded me that's what family is for." I handed them the first package. My father opened it with a smile that froze immediately. Inside was a beautifully bound accounting ledger with the gold leaf title Family Investment. Page after page itemized every penny I had spent on them in the past 5 years. Apartment, car, university, credit cards, vacations, medical emergencies. The total was underlined on the final page. $147,000. My mother went pale. "What? What is this?"
A receipt.
"I wanted you to remember exactly what family has been for." I turned to face my ex. "For you, who built this future on the foundation of my support." I handed him the second box. When he opened it, he found the car repossession paperwork and a single key. I took out my phone and displayed a photo of a Civic on the TV screen they had set up for the baby photo slideshow, the tow truck that had taken it away that morning. "You won't be needing this anymore," I said as he stared at the photo, mouth agape. "Are you insane? That's my work car. Check the contract. It was never yours." I finally turned to my sister. "And for you, who had such a bright future ahead." The third package contained the university's formal notice of suspension and a copy of the student loan agreement, which included a demand for immediate payment. My sister's face went pink, white, then red as she read the document. "You can't do this. I'm pregnant. I'm 2 classes away from graduating. You should have thought of that before." "She's insane," she exclaimed, playing the perfect victim.
She's obsessed.
"She can't stand to see us happy." The murmuring from the crowd began. Some nodded, believing her performance. "I'm not finished," I announced, raising my voice. "There's one more present. A present that isn't from me, but for you." I plugged the USB drive into the television. The first image that appeared was of my ex kissing Andrea at the bar. My sister stared at him, confused. "What is this?" At that moment, the garden gate opened. Andrea walked in confidently, looking directly at my ex. "I came to give my own present," she said calmly, cutting through the air. "It's called honesty." My ex became as white as paper. "What are you doing here?" Andrea smiled. "Meeting the mother of your child, though I wonder, did you tell her we've been living together for 3 years?" The slideshow automatically played photos of my ex and Andrea, including romantic dinners, trips, and intimate dates that coincided with our supposed anniversaries. My sister watched the photos as if they were from a horror movie. What does this mean?" "It means that your soulmate has 2 apartments, 2 girlfriends, and told each one the other didn't exist," Andrea said. "And by the way, he told me he was sterile." My sister collapsed, but she didn't cry like the victim. It was the shrill, frantic scream of someone who had just discovered she had been fooled as badly as I had. "You son of a bitch," she screamed at my ex while hitting his chest. "You told me she was history. You told me you loved me." My ex, cornered and watching his life crumble, exploded. "You and your stupid family pressured me. Of course, I needed a backup plan. It was all about the money. Did you think I was going to live as a parasite from a single source for my entire life?" The silence was thick. He had just confirmed everything in front of the whole family. My father stood up, trembling.
Parasite.
"Yes," my ex said, screaming out of control. "You and your money. Your daughter paying for everything." Of course, I looked for alternatives. Any intelligent man would have. My sister was on the ground sobbing in a way I'd never seen before. Completely broken. I walked over, knelt down to her level, and whispered just quietly enough for only her to hear. "You wanted a real family. He gave you one. Enjoy it." I stood up, grabbed my purse, and walked to the exit. Behind me, the chaos was complete. My ex screaming justifications nobody believed. My sister crying on the grass. Andrea filming everything with her phone. My parents stunned, staring at the accounting ledger while the guests whispered and took pictures. At the door, I took one last look back. My mother was comforting my sister, but she was looking at me with an expression I'd never seen before. Respect mixed with fear. That's what family is for, I said loudly enough for her to hear. I drove home in complete silence. I didn't play any music. I didn't call anyone. I just drove with a peace I hadn't felt in months. When I arrived at my apartment, I poured myself a glass of water, sat on my couch, and for the first time in a long time, I smiled. My phone started buzzing with messages, missed calls, and texts. I ignored them all. It wasn't revenge I felt in that garden. It was justice, cold, calculated, and perfect justice. And for the first time since that terrible night at my engagement party, I felt completely free. It had been 6 months since the baby shower. That same night, my sister and ex-partner broke up. He fled the city, like the rat he had always been. She had no housing, no university, and was pregnant, so she had to move into my parents' basement. The irony is exquisite. My parents, who pushed me so hard to keep the family together, are now forced to support their daughter and the baby with their retirement funds. They became victims of the very daughter they defended. They tried to reconcile with me 3 months ago. My mother called me crying. We made a mistake. We need our family. Of course, I told them, but I'm no longer your ATM. We can have a relationship, but it will be cordial and distant. I agreed to see them for lunch once a month, but the conditions are strict. No talk about money, no requests for my sister, and no emotional manipulation. They traded their daughter the bank to gain a distant acquaintance. I sold the repossessed car and rented out the apartment. The symbols of my betrayal are now generating passive income. Every month, I receive $2,200 in rent, and my lawyer sends me a collection notice for the student loan, a harsh bureaucratic reminder that actions have consequences. I cut off communication with all relatives who pressured or judged me. My social circle was halved, but the quality improved enormously. I no longer have to deal with jealous cousins, sexist uncles, or controlling grandmothers. Last week, I moved into a new house, smaller than the previous one, but entirely mine with no bad memories or ghosts from the past. In my study, I have a folder called Freedom Fund. All of the money I save from not supporting parasites goes in there. I've already accumulated $7,000. My sister tried to contact me when the baby was born. She sent me a photo on messaging app with a comment, "Your nephew wants to meet his favorite aunt." I didn't respond. I blocked that number. I don't hate her. It would require emotional energy that I'd rather dedicate to my own life. She simply doesn't exist for me. She is a stranger who once shared my last name. Last night, as I was reviewing my financial portfolio and observing how my money has grown since I removed the leeches from my life, I realized something. It wasn't revenge I sought. It was justice. And justice isn't always exciting or cinematic. Sometimes it's quiet, cold, and unwavering. I made myself a cup of tea, sat on my new balcony, and watched the city lights. I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't experience any explosive satisfaction. I felt something far better, complete peace. Order was restored not through screams or drama, but through unwavering boundaries and natural consequences.